Building wealth is predominantly about building good money habits. So in today's video, I'm walking you through 7 of the top money habits that you want to avoid because these habits keep you poor. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sarah Edens. I'm a finance coach, author, and wealth mindset researcher, and I'm so happy you chose to join me today to work on your wealth mindset, your finance skills, and to put those two things to unlock your inner millionaire. So let's get right into what are the 7 top money habits that are keeping you poor. Number 1 is acting rich before you're actually rich. This is a trap that so many people get drawn into because we live in such a hyper consumer culture today. If you want a really good resource on it, this is the book for you. It's called Stop Acting Rich by Dr. Thomas J. Stanley. Now, you may know Dr. Stanley from the first book that he ever published, which is The Millionaire Next Door, which is an absolutely wonderful book. This one is the one that I would recommend that you pick up and read because I feel like this kind of encapsulates his perspective the best. But I just finished reading Stop Acting Rich, and in light of today's video, this one's also really interesting. It's a little bit dated, but what he does in this book is he actually talks about the many millionaires and multimillionaires who he surveyed and studied over about 30 years of his professional life. And it's a really interesting window into how the rich live. And he has a couple of people in here that he breaks down into different types of wealthy people. So he has everything from what he calls the glittering rich, who are the people who actually have the net worth to live these beautiful lifestyles that we often see portrayed on social media, where people have these luxury homes, drive luxury vehicles, have luxury yachts, go on these incredible luxurious vacations. And then he talks about another category of people called the aspirational rich. And that's what I'm talking about here. That's a bad money habit that will get you in trouble if you are too much leaning into the aspirational rich category. And when he talks about the aspirational rich, what Dr. Stanley is talking about is people who act rich but aren't rich, and they just use debt to be able to look like they're rich. So they have their home really leveraged up in debt. They have lots of car loans. They have all kinds of credit card debt, maybe to be able to buy designer watches and designer clothes and take luxury vacations. So to anyone around them, they might look wealthy, but they're not actually wealthy. And so that's the first thing that you can do, is to don't act rich until you're actually rich. And I really like his point in that book about Stop Acting Rich, because it really is important to focus on developing your good money habits, building your wealth. And then once you've built your wealth, enjoy it. Enjoy the fruits of your labor, but not before on debt, like is so common and so easy to do. Number 2 is not saving for emergencies, layoffs, job furloughs, unexpected medical expenses, and so forth. So you hear me talk about this all the time on my channel, but it is a serious misstep that will definitely keep you poor, because if you don't have some kind of a savings account for emergencies, you suddenly end up, if you get, let's say you get laid off and need to go get a payday loan, for example. Do you know right now, payday loans are, no kidding, operating right now, they're being offered at 400% annual percentage rate. 400%, which is just astronomical. So you do not want to go and have to deal with payday loans and things like that, just to be able to kind of tide you over in an emergency situation. So definitely start building that savings account of anywhere from 3 to 6 months of living expenses, as much as you possibly can. Start doing that now. The third bad money habit is not having a monthly budget. So I've got an entire playlist on that. I'll link to it in the description, that will teach you all the habits that you need to know about budgeting. But it's really important to know how much money is coming in every month, and then of the money that's going out, what it's going out to, and are you remembering to save? Most financial experts recommend that you save a minimum of 20% of your income every single month. And so that's a minimum to shoot for. If you can save more than that, that's wonderful. And if you invest some of that, also great. And so it's really good to just make sure you've got a budget, so that you don't just mindlessly spend all your money every single month and don't remember to put money towards your future self. That will definitely keep you poor. That's called living paycheck to paycheck. You can do that at any price point for a very long time and still end up very poor at the end of the day, because even if you have a high income, let's say, but you're spending everything every month, you're not building that nest egg for your future self and for your retirement. You're not building your wealth. And so that is a real misstep you want to avoid. Number 4 is only making minimum payments on your debt. So this gets more and more relevant every year because interest rates on credit cards in particular just keep going up and up. So if all you're making is the minimum payments on your credit card, you are making the credit card companies rich instead of making yourself rich. So stop making those minimum payments, start paying more than is the minimum required if possible. And also remember too, if credit cards are something that causes you a lot of hassle and headache, and you really struggle to keep your spending in check when you have credit cards, take a break from using your credit cards and use debit cards instead, because that way you're not able to spend more than you're making because you're really limited to what's in the account that the debit card is linked to. And so it's kind of a reality check on your spending. If credit cards are a trouble zone for you, they're not something I recommend cutting up and throwing away. For sure, hang on to them and keep them around for those emergency expenses. They're a good thing to have as a backup, but at the same time, maybe consider taking a little bit of a break from them if they're giving you a lot of trouble just continuing to run balances that then all you can do is make those minimum payments, because you don't want to make the credit card companies rich. You want to make yourself rich. So focus on that. Number 5 is not investing early on. Investing is really important to start educating yourself about if you haven't already. If it's a new concept to you, there's so many different resources out there completely for free that you can learn from. Just remember that with investments, don't invest money that you're not willing to lose. And remember that with investing, while yes, you can make money, depending on what you invest in and how long you hold those investments, you can also lose money. And so it isn't the same as having your money in a savings account where you're making a certain APR or a certain yield back from the savings account every year, APY, that you're just counting on I get 5% off the savings account or whatever. It doesn't work that way. So you can make a lot more off of your investments. You can also make less. And so really important to keep in mind. But if you have a wise and savvy financial investment strategy, you can consult with an investment advisor for sure on this and educate yourself and learn. But that's a great way to grow your wealth over time. Not investing leaves you in a situation where you're, especially right now with the high levels of inflation that we live with these days, it really is hard to keep your money even at pace with inflation if you're not investing and making more percentage-wise than inflation is running along at. So that's a challenge that we're just facing in the modern era we live in today. Number 6 is not having the right insurance. Now, insurance is definitely something that is causing people a lot of stress right now, especially when it comes to health insurance premiums. They're through the roof. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're carrying your health insurance, that you're carrying your home insurance, your auto insurance, life insurance, disability insurance is really good to kind of have an insurance for your paycheck in case you got sick or got injured and weren't able to work or work at the same type of job that you're currently working at now. So those are kind of the main things you want to cover. So health, life insurance, disability insurance, homeowner's insurance if you're a homeowner, or renter's insurance if you rent, and then also your auto insurance. So you just want to make sure that you're covering all those bases. Sometimes it can feel like the money we spend on insurance premiums is money we're flushing down the drain, but just remember that you are having those insurance coverages so that you don't end up with a catastrophic health issue, for example, that then you're there stuck with the entire bill on your own, or you don't end up with a big car crash that they're stuck with the entire bill on your own or something like that, because those things can just start to really add up. Currently, I was doing some research into this, and currently medical bills are one of the leading causes of bankruptcy here in the US right now, just because of the astronomical cost of healthcare. So especially with health insurance, just definitely, as much as you're able to, try to keep up with your health insurance premiums and don't just wing it and hope for the best and hope you won't get sick. Especially if you're younger, it can be easy to think, I'm not going to have any problems. I'm not going to, get sick. Nothing's going to happen. But, you can have an accident, or you can, unfortunately get in a car crash or something like that. And then things like that can really cost so much money. So really important to just stay on top of those premiums. And then the seventh and final bad money habit that's keeping you poor is ignoring your credit score. And I've got a video and a playlist, in fact, on credit use, on your credit score, and so forth. So a credit score, think about it as part of your personal brand. So a credit score is a number between 300 and 850 that everyone from lenders, banks, mortgage companies, maybe even your employer or your landlord looks at to be able to look at this number, and it's just a super quick snapshot for them that tells them how responsible is this person with their money? How good are they at keeping their bills paid on time? How good are they at paying off the loans that they take on? How much debt are they in, period? Things like that. And so it's a really important number that is, as you go through your adult life, you want to work on improving as you go through your life and not just have it kind of stuck at a low number, because it can really hurt you with everything from applying for a mortgage. You're not going to get particularly favorable interest rates and things like that. You'll get much better terms if you've got a good credit score. So that's considered 800 and above is considered exceptional. And so it's kind of just a game of figuring out how to build your credit score over time. And again, I'll link to my video below in the description about exactly what goes into your credit score and how you can improve it. But that's a really, really important key piece of your level up journey financially, is to work on that credit score piece. Okay, so that is 7 money habits that are keeping you poor. Let me know in the comments what other money habits can keep you poor and hold people back from their financial success. I'd be really interested to hear from you, because there's obviously more than 7. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again soon in my next video.